All right, how my experts doing? James Lee Love here, another episode of Brands Experts podcast where experts are using marketing and technology to build their own and help other brands build and market successful brands, right? So what we're getting on today, like something that's very important, right there, I realized, and that's one of the things that's most likely holding you back or holding your brand back. So very important episode to get into. And that is um, why documented and applied self-improvement will always increase your brand income, right? Now, why didn't I just say self-improvement, right? And I can, switch the title up or adjust the title as need be. But why did I not just say self-improvement? Well, I didn't just say self-improvement. I didn't just say that because I didn't just say self-improvement because here's what ends up happening, right? Check this out. So if you're just doing self improvement, right, and you're not documenting it, right, and you're not applying it, right, so adding it to your schedule, looking at certain metrics, doing all this stuff, right, here's what will happen. You'll view what you're supposed to do, but there's no guarantee it will happen because, like, without something being applied, like it sounds good, like going to the gym is great, but without applying what you're doing at the gym, it's a situation that will turn out like this. Like you'll go and then you'll just keep going. Like, for example, with me with the podcast, I'll go, I'll do episodes, I'll get guests, I'll do all these things. But how do I know I'm hitting my benchmarks, right? If you're just going, a lot of people just go. And that's cool to go somewhere, but you got to make sure you're meeting certain qualifications. Are you hitting your income goals, right? Are you because like, and not just when you start, like for the first year, I understand that you're just trying to see if you like it. You're just getting going, really. So you get a pass for your first year, and everybody does. And everybody should. You're just getting going. You're just trying to see if you like it. Me personally, I've done so many different things. From growing up to being an adult to doing so many of my own things. I've learned that I love running a business. It's great. It's something I always will admire. The fact that somebody's brave enough to get out there and make something happen, do something. But what I've learned is the investing side really is something I enjoy and so necessary and so amazing. And the investors get the biggest advantages. And knowing that and understanding that, it's just incredible. What the investors are able to do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's just really important to know that and understand and know what's going on with the investors. Just because like everybody is striving to be an investor. Like that's why Shark Tank is what it is. Because like the longer you live, the less time you have, right? And being an investor maximizes your time because you can let the CEO, the entrepreneur, the brand, the business run itself, and you just provide the capital. You get your return um, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, whichever your breakdown schedule is for your income, and you provide the capital. You know, you know, a beginning round, initial investment, a monthly investment, a yearly investment, however it breaks down. It could be something to where it's stocks or crypto or real estate, however it goes. But that's the ultimate goal, right? And I've learned that getting into some very amazing investments, and I'm going to be building something around that for people involved with the things I'm doing, and it's going to be really cool, and I'm looking forward to that. But I'm not starting that yet because I need to, do proof of concept, make sure everything works. I believe it's going to work, and I know in my mind it's going to work, but I got to prove it. A lot of people do things and just go, and there's nothing wrong with that. But me, from just going, like I want to make sure I'm not spreading myself too thin, and you know, all that kind of stuff is really important. But Yeah. So we're gonna get back on the main thing we was getting at though in this episode, and that was right why having that income is so important for your brand, right? It's so important. So listen, like you not having that, having income for your brand, like that can hold you back. That can stop you, right? That can stop you. You know what I'm saying? You don't really need that. You know, it's gonna hold you back. It's really gonna hold you back. So we're gonna get to how to fix that situation with you not having income, and really, lock that down for you. Okay, so let's get to it. So first things first, with you not having income is they're going to just kind of do what you can, right? And and you don't want to do that, right? So now we're gonna get to this, the main thing we was talking about, and that's documented and applied self improvement. Documented and applied self improvement. I'm gonna say it again: documented and applied self improvement. Right. This is crucial. Really, 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 really important. Right. This is important because if you look at it, having that documented and applied self improvement. Think about it for a second, okay? Going back to what I was saying before, if you're just going and going and going and going and going, what happens? You're not going to get the results that you want, right? Because think about it. There's only so much you're going to improve just doing the same thing, right? But if you want to go to another, like for example, if I'm doing push-ups, if I'm exercising, right? I'm doing push-ups, and I'm doing 5 push-ups a day. Compared to 0, that helps. But if I get that to 55, 85 a day, get it to 200 a day, the results are going to be crazy. Actually learn different variations of the push-ups, right? Diamonds, wide arms, stagger. There's handstand push-ups. You could do push-ups on a pole. There's so many different things you could do. There's hundreds of different variations. There's Hindu push-ups. There's dive bombers, right? But if you're not improving, right, that's just one example. Even with your business, right, if you just keep, I'm going to do a podcast episode every week. I'm going to do one every week. I'm going to do one every week. Here's the issue you'll run into with that. Yes, you're showing up. Yes, that consistency is admirable. Yes, clap. Yes, clap. But here's the problem with that. You have to look at it like, okay, I got to put bread on the table. You see what I'm saying? I got to put bread on the table. I have to eat. If you have kids, family, whatever the case, they have to eat. You have to go places. If you have to travel, you have to do different things. You can't just keep going. That's why books are so important. Videos, courses, paying people to come get involved. Look at Shark Tank. They go in there. They need investors. Why? Because they've done it by themselves for all those years. And then what? And then what happens after all those years? After all those years of them doing it themselves, after all those years, guess what? They're not left with anything, right? They might not be left with anything, and then they might have to close up shop. They have to pay their bills, all this other stuff. See what I'm saying? You see why self-improvement is so important? You see why it's important to get better? Like, when I first started doing podcasts, I was just using the camera on the phone. And I don't even think I had a mic. If I did, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. That was a while ago, some years. Matter of fact, I did have a mic, I remember. But it's not this Hollyland high-level stuff. It's not the Canon 80D. It's EOS 80D Canon. You know what I'm saying? It's not this high-level stuff. I didn't have a tripod. I didn't have different lenses. I didn't have the stuff that I love to use that levels up my production, right? I didn't even have guests when I just started. I just started, right? I mean, even the first episode, second episode, I had Dragon from Dragon Media. Shout him out. But, over time I improved. But eventually I got to the point, because here's how I am, like personally. I look at stuff like this. And this is one of my best attributes. I look at things and I keep looking. And I say, okay, and I keep looking and I keep looking and I keep looking. And because I don't just sit there and like look at the wall. If things aren't going how they're supposed to, I will adjust. Not just because like I'm impatient or whatever the case with that. That's not why I adjust. I adjust because here's what I realize: time is limited, right? So with time being limited, if I just keep sitting there doing the same exact thing over and over and over and over, what should I expect? What should I expect if I really don't even like it that much? If I'm just doing it to make money, you know, I have to look at that like, what do I expect to get from that situation? And if I see, because what you need to do is you need to look at best case scenario. That's why I talk about improvement. Best case scenario. You have to look at it, because if you're not doing that, because there's fantasy case scenario and there's best case scenario, two different things, two completely different things, right? And most people get stuck on fantasy case scenario, and they're believing in a fantasy, which is nothing wrong to dream and dream big, and I understand that because I do that. I get caught up in that, and I understand it. But when you get too caught up in a fantasy, you're thinking way far off and you're messing up, right? And that's what happens when you keep doing the same thing every day, right? Without understanding improvement, without documenting your improvement, without making sure you improve a little bit every day. It's not about just keep going. Like, I even learned so much different stuff about social media. Yes, I have a page on Instagram and Facebook, and I have videos on YouTube and all that stuff. I get that, which millions and billions of other people do as well. But this is what I had to realize. Okay, I got a page. Okay, I have all this stuff. Okay, good, great. But this is what I had to realize. Is I own the brand myself. Here's what ends up happening. Okay, I own the brand. So how much funding is going behind this brand? Right? Okay, how many books am I reading? Okay, how many relationships do I have? In doing this. Okay, like, how much am I going to get paid for me to be comfortable with going to go do a job and doing the deliverables and doing the things that I need to do? Okay, what businesses am I going to have to create relationships with, pitch offers? What events am I going to have to go to make the right relationships? What makes sense to be able to charge the right amount for what I want to do, at my level? All this stuff makes a lot of sense, right? And so if you didn't break all this down, right, because you might have to adjust. See, and I'm gonna have a video where I get into, because there's I believe 8 different areas and mindsets that you need, or not that you need, but that you fall into. All right, and see, if you don't know and understand this about the areas that you fall into, here's what ends up happening if you don't understand that. If you don't understand the areas you fall into. All right, so here's what happens if you don't understand the areas you fall into. Here's what happens if you do not understand that. Check this out. Check what's going to happen if you do not understand the areas you fall into, right? You might be thinking you're going to get the type of returns that an investor is going to get if you're doing something like, I'm just going to get on this lightly, because I'll get into this in another episode so you can really understand what's going on. But think about it for a second. If you're in the wrong area, now what? Right? Because you think because you're doing some labor, you're going to get investor returns. See the problem with that? You're already in the wrong area and mindset. Oh, if I keep posting, I'll go viral. What is the return on a viral video? Tell me that. Right? Tell me what's the average return. Do you even know? Most people don't, and it ain't really much of anything on average, right? Because it's the inventory of it. It's how much of it is there, right? And so if there's too many if there's 100,000 viral videos a day, what is yours worth? You got to look at it. And in that field, like, okay, like, you have a page, you talked about something, it was seen 1,000 times, that's great. But now what? What is that worth? What is it tied into? What did the content lead people? How much of those did you turn into clients and customers? And are people going to forget about it in 24 hours? So then what is it worth, right? You got to ask yourself these things. That's why I'm talking about investment. And, improvement, right? Improvement with your marketing. Improvement with your technology, right? Like I already talked about the camera I'm using, the Canon 80D, right? I'm talking about technology. I'm talking about marketing. I'm talking about all these different things that you need to be learning how to use to improve the things that you're doing so you can actually get better. Because if you do not document and apply, how do you expect to get better? Seriously, how do you expect to get better? I fell into this myself, right? Where I was doing podcasts I was doing, filming, I'm doing all this stuff. But what I'm realizing is this: you have to ask yourself this important question as you're getting better, right? And that's where I opened up to the marketing side. I mean, not marketing, excuse me. We're open up to the investment side and labor side and all this, because when it's all said and done, what is it worth? What is it worth liquid? What can you sell it for? What is it worth if you get sick, or what? And when you pass it down, what is it worth? What is it worth? That's why you should be investing. That's why, think about it for a second. If you invested into Facebook, which owns Instagram, but if you invested for every post, if you invested $5, $10, whatever you had on average every time you posted, what would that be worth? See what happens? Now you can get some numbers going on. But if you with these businesses and what's going on, the crumbs that you get most of the time, just be real with the labor work. The crumbs that you get from the labor work, ask yourself what that's doing for you with the crumbs you're getting from the labor work, and you need more labor to pour into it. You need to just keep dumping labor in, right? Like a gallon of labor a day, just dump it in, dump it. You can't put the labor in, so now you on stuck mode. You stressed out. You can't film. See what I'm talking about? But if you have an investment in it, you like, I'm still bringing in income. I can supplement that. I can hire somebody with the income I'm getting because I invested into this. I invested into that, and the income brought me in, and brought me up. So now I can invest into somebody else's labor because your time is limited. I can't do this for 30 hours in a day because there is no 30 hours in a day. I can even do it for 10 hours in a day because I'm doing different things. You see what I'm saying? I'm doing different things. So there's no possible way that I can do this at that level. You see what I'm saying? There's no possible way I could do the things that I need to do on the level that I need to do them. See what I'm saying? There's no possible way I can get to where I'm going, where I need to go. There's no possible way that any of this can happen if I don't improve. How would I ever have found that out? You know what would have happened? I'd have just kept going in a circle over and over and over again, going in a circle, going in a circle, going in a circle, going in a circle. And so many circles later, I wake up or whatever the case is, and I am wherever I end up. I'm just speaking on the reality on it. I'm just speaking on the reality. Not talking about anything else besides the reality. I'm speaking on reality on the situation. And it is what it is. So I just want you to understand that. I don't want you to get stuck. I want your business to go to business. Because even if you got to adjust to something else, even got to adjust to owning something or whatever the case, you're better off doing that than being stuck. Be real with yourself. Do you want to be stuck? No. Okay? That's why I change how I operate in everything. When I come home, I don't want it to be dirty. I don't want it to be disorganized. I don't want something to not be vacuumed. I don't want nothing to not be clean. I improve my house every day. My shirt, I want my shirts to be nice. I want it to be ironed. I want it to be clean. I want to, everything. My cameras, I want batteries to be charged. I want everything. I want to improve everything. If I'm not getting the right views on my podcast, if I'm not getting the right engagement, if I'm not meeting the right business owners, then I need to go pay for consulting. I need to go pay for, expert level marketing. I need to pay for this stuff. You have to employ your money. See, another problem when you're not improving, you're so focused on getting paid that you're not paying someone to help you improve so you can actually get paid. Let me say that again. You're so focused on the income that you're not putting enough out to get something in. You see what I'm talking about? You have to pay out to get better to get something in. Because if you keep doing average, we're flooded with average. We're flooded with average, right? That's another video, but we're flooded with average. There's average everywhere, okay? What is average? Somebody show up, do the job, go home. People are not excited about that. People don't, okay, I'm going on social media and look at somebody being average. People are tired of doing that. See what I'm saying? People are tired of average. People want experts. People want great, right? Myron Golden said this. Shout out to the legend Myron Golden, right? This is what he says. 10% of everything brings 90% of the results in. I believe that. Think about it. There's hundreds of thousands, millions of online stores. Cream of the crop. You got Walmart, you got Target, you got Amazon, you got Nike, you got all these top ones. And people go to different Fashion Nova, and you get people to go to different ones. I get that. But these ones bring everything in. Who's the anchors for the podcast space? You got Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp. You got Shannon Sharp, Ocho, Gilbert Arenas with Nightcap, right? And, different guests and different things they're doing over there. You have the podcast space, right? You got Joe Rogan with the podcast space. You got Social Proof Podcast with the podcast space, right? You got Circle of Greatness, Nehemiah Davis with podcast space, right? You got Shaq doing his podcast, right? You got LeBron and JJ Redick doing their podcast, right? Those are the anchors. Those are the 10% that brings the whole industry up. right? But I'm saying if you just stay average, you may quit. You may never get the guess you want. It may never be what you think it's going to be because you're not improving. You have to understand. Average is just average. You got to think about it. When athletes get to professional sports, right? Every year in the NBA, there's 2 rounds of 30 players each, 60 total players in the NBA draft, right? And within 3 years, 80% of these players are out of the professional sport, and they get recycled in with new ones. Why? Because they didn't get better. They were good in college. College, you was good. You get to the NBA, what was you? You was average. And they want great. They want another LeBron. They want another Victor Wembanyama. They want another Kobe. They want another Michael Jordan. They want another Luka Doncic. They want another Kyrie Irving. See what I'm saying? Look at how long the careers are. Look at the stats. Look at the All-Star games. Look at the NBA championships. Look at everything, right? That's what they want to replicate. They want to replicate the Shaquille O'Neals. They want to replicate the top players. You could be top in college. But if you get to the professional level and you don't improve, look what happens. You launch a podcast and you don't improve, you can still do it. You can still get there and show up. Like you can show up at the park playing basketball. You could be 50, 60 years old at the park playing basketball. But guess what? Guess what happens in that situation? You think somebody's going to pay you because you can make free throws? No. Yeah, you can set a camera up and yeah, hopefully something can happen. But the odds? No one's showing up paying to watch it. Speaking reality, speaking realisticness, like being realistic in a situation. That's what happens if you don't improve, right? And the same thing happens in business. If you do not improve, what do you expect? You're going to turn... This year, I'm 36 years of age. And next year, in March, I'm going to be 37. The following year, 38. The following year, 39. The following year, 40. 41, so on and so on. Time's not going to wait on you to get better. That's something you got to do if you want your brand to work, if you want your business to work, if you want your investments to work, if you want to elevate and do the things you need to do. So if you see me not showing up, that's because I realize I need to get better. I'm not just going to keep... See, that's the thing. You can... Just showing up is great, right? Being consistent is great. I'll never discount somebody doing that. But a big mistake, I think, happens when some people are so consistent, so wrapped up in what's going on that they don't even realize that they're average. They don't realize that their Facebook page is average. They don't realize that their business is average. They don't realize that they're average. Why don't you realize it? Because you have tunnel vision. You've been doing the same episode every Monday, whichever day you've been doing it for the last 5, 10, 20 years, however long you've been doing it. And there you go. That's what you got. You got to average over 20 years, and you expecting people to just show up. Maybe I'll go viral. Okay, you went viral, now what? Okay, you get 5 more views a month, now what? Don't just say for this one person, because that's cool when you're just starting. But when you get 2, 10, 20 years down, don't say one person. Say the community you built. Say the partners you've met with. Say you hitting your income goals, right? You talk about that. Say how you transition from regular 9-to-5 work to running your business full time. Say you've hired your kids or hired your friends or did interviews and hired the correct people to fill the positions and to do things they need to do. That's where you need to elevate to, okay? I'm letting you know this because this is something I went through. I like to speak from first principles, from the person that actually went through it and all that. I like to speak from that perspective, and I'm going to let you know that I had to have these realizations with myself, right? It doesn't matter what group or organization you're a part of. If you're part of a local chamber of commerce, you're part of a business group, if you're part of whatever it is, I applaud that for investing into others. That's admirable. But on the other side of it, if you can't pay for your family, if you can't survive, then ask yourself this other question. Why are you doing it if you can't survive? You have to survive first. And if you got to go have meetings and conversations with these people and say, hey, this ain't making no income over here. We're not getting no income over here. How we fit to get some income popping over here? How we fit to get this income going? All right. If you're not figuring out how you're getting your income going, then what are you going to do? What are you going to make work? If you're not getting that going, how are you going to make something work? Right? You got to answer those questions. And if you're not going to answer those questions, you're going to be stuck where you at, doing what you're doing, going in a circle. Okay? Circles are undefeated. People have been going in circles for millions of years. That's why people have their dream complete, going to the NBA, and then they leave because that was their only dream. It never was to. Now it's to make an All-Star team. Now it's to win a championship. Now it's to make 20 All-Stars. Look at LeBron. Still chasing greatness. Still shot 9 for 10 from 3. Shot his highest percentage. That was his career high with the percentage on the threes. The only player in the NBA that shot that from this year because he's still improving. That's why he's doing podcasts still. That's why he's doing all the stuff he's doing. That's why he's making movies. That's why he's doing different things. He wasn't on the NBA team. He's not stopping. It's all about improving. So if you want to go where you want to go, start improving. Okay? So if you need help with this, listen, go to brandsexpressmarketing.com/offers or go to any one of my pages, James Elite Love or Brands Express Marketing. Search it, check it out, and I'll make sure I help you. But overall, period, you need to make sure you improve. You need to know how to do that, okay? Do not get stuck not improving. Bad mistake messes everything up. James Elite Love, Brands Express Podcast. Go.